what did you do to me? It is like 3 a.m. waiting for you to send news to me.
I got like 15 hours of sleep and woke up at 4 p.m. today, and I still have not eaten a gosh darn thing. I am trademark losing my mind. Also, that was Tomfoolery by Egovert, Quidecca, Moxus, and Kill. It's some straight heat. No sponsor here, the song's just really good. Listen to it, you fool. But anyways, hi again, guys. It's me, Kwite, back at it again with a modded Skyrim Let's Play. And I'm gonna be real with you guys, I'm not entirely sure where I am. I would say that I'm in London, and that you guys should tell me who I should try and make a video with while I'm out here, but I can't really leave the box, so I'm kind of here and, not at the same time. Shadow physics have me tripping over my own balls. But that aside, I know what you guys are thinking, and don't worry, I realize I have been gone for a very exorbitant amount of time. I mean, in the time since my last upload on this channel, scientists found a planet similar to Earth, my Instagram page has gone to complete shit, and somehow Grolix McLaren managed to worm his way into a video on my second channel, which you can check out linked in the description below. But because of this long absence of mine, you guys are probably all wondering what covert Black Ops mission the Czechoslovakian government had me working that's made me disappear for so long. And let me tell you, there's no secret mission, retard. I mean, do I look like someone trying to keep a secret from you? Okay, point taken, but even if I was working a mission, you guys aren't finding out. Mom said I'm not allowed to tell you. Truth be told, I actually just very irresponsibly fell down a rabbit hole, a rather embarrassing one if I'm being honest with you. And that is the rabbit hole of this guy who really likes collecting vacuums. So this all started when I was recording a video with Henry, Bluesdank, on cursed vacuums, and one of the godforsaken hoovers he showed to me in the real hoover was of a man surrounded by just a squadron, a veritable small private army of vacuums. Like, that dude probably gets some mad suck with the amount of literal pipe he's keeping around the house. This particular image really intrigued me, so I asked Henry where in the 9 circles of hell he'd managed to find such a thing, and he said it was from an article on the man himself, whose main hobby is to collect vacuums of all ages, shapes, walks of life, sizes, and conditions. The person pictured in the image is an Italian man with an unpronounceable name for someone as small-brained as I, Guido Liguori. A man living his best life with his best mates, a fuck ton of vacuum cleaners. Liguori is a 38-year-old alpha of a Chad, and he has spent 3 decades of that most precious currency of life we call time collecting vacuums. And by God, when I say he's been doing it, I mean he's really doing it. Here's the madman taking just one of the many dames in his brigade of sucking machines to the lake, treating her to the sights, hoisting her and cradling her in his arms, showing that he truly loves and cares for her, just really showing his affection for this otherwise inanimate object. And while his family may not be supportive of his passion all the time, Liguori persists in his love for the collection of vacuums despite everyone around him telling him to fucking stop. Now this would be the part where I go on more about our friend, whose name I butchered so many times up to this point that it's in enough pieces to eat, but the article is pretty much finished with him at that point. That being said, this vacuum-themed roller coaster ride is far from over, and you're a bigger fool than a dog chasing its own tail if you thought otherwise. For you see, while the article may be about done telling the tale of this one Guido Liguori, the article itself is far from over. No. It still has to tell us about the 2 other vacuum collectors that are available to its knowledge. One is a vacuum, or Hoover repairman if you will, because the Daily Mail is a UK publication and refuses to call vacuums the right word, named Gary Sheen, who has amassed a collection of 204 total vacuums to his name. But perhaps the most impressive of these vacuum collectors is one young 16-year-old prodigy named Scott McMillan. He has traveled the lands and managed to behold in his possession 304 fucking vacuums. 304 vacuums. 304 vacuums! What in the fuck? How does anybody have that level of dedication towards anything? I get put off when I put an hour or 2 of grinding a skill to 100 in Skyrim, but this 16-year-old has fucking outshined me in every conceivable way in terms of dedication to something. 304 vacuums collected at age 16. Now, I know what you're thinking. Quite 3 people whose main passion in life is collecting as many vacuums as possible and potentially doing questionable and socially taboo things with those vacuums when nobody looking is a bit strange, but it was all in one article, and if that's it, it's not much of a rabbit hole, much less one that should have sucked you in for 2 weeks. That, my friend, you are correct. It wouldn't be a very good reason if this one article was all that kept me preoccupied for 2 weeks, but what I was thinking when looking through this article is that if there are 3 of these collected in one convenient British combo of words, then certainly there have to be others. And with that thought having crossed my mind, I went on the journey of a lifetime. Come with me, friends, so that I may regale you with the stories of the various vacuum hoarders of the land who hail from all corners of the world. That way we may travel together and my watch time will go up a bunch. From the London Economic, I found this man Steve Cooke, who also has a very large collection of over 300 vacuums, and who's been collecting them since he was 3 years old. Start him young, as they say. But from this article, we start to get an idea of just how much this hobby is going to start to cost you, if you decide to buy all your vacuums, that is. But the article says that Steve has spent around $12,485.28 on vacuums. Now, I don't know about you guys, but when you get to such a specific number where you're using both digits for the cents section, I don't know if it's appropriate to say he spent around that much. That's a pretty fucking exact amount, not really an estimate if you ask me. Either way, next we go to Stephen Point's journal, some USA Today EU equivalent outlet or whatever, where we meet 49-year-old at the time Michael Balda, whose girlfriend thinks he's, quote, batshit crazy. You know what, Mike? She says that because she doesn't understand you. But there are people out there who do. Never believe that you are alone, my friend, because if this video has shown us anything, you definitely aren't by any stretch of the imagination. And for the last person on our list, we now head over to the very poorly named TLC, the Learning Channel. It feels like we always end up back here. But here we're going to become acquainted with another young dust sucker enthusiast named Logan Hall. It's a very fitting last name considering the amount of vacuums he owns, I gotta say.
The only thing 13-year-old Logan Halls of Sibley, Iowa likes more than the sound of one of his over 100 vacuum cleaners is the feeling of one in his hands.
I feel joy when I vacuum.
I have to be honest, I can't even make a joke about it here. Mostly because he's a kid, and while bullying children is on brand for me, I don't have the heart for it right now. Because this kid seems way too wholesome for me to do that. He finds joy when vacuuming. That's a trait I wish more people in this world had. A physical desire to clean their fucking house. Most people shudder in terror at the thought. Viewer, I don't want you to bully this kid. Instead, I want you to try and learn something from him. Look at the floor of your bedroom right now and tell me how many goddamn crumbs from how many different types of food you have laying on that bitch. Some goldfish pieces, Cheez-Its maybe, little bits of meat that came flying out of something you ordered from Taco Bell. Clean that shit up right now. That's not a request, that's an order.
It makes me feel kind of annoyed because there's always a vacuum running around the house and I can't really concentrate on what I want to do.
Yeah, well, maybe no one wants to hear you play the piano, Morgan. Did you think about that, huh? God, kids these days are so selfish. At least your brother is making a business off of his habit instead of mooching off his parents for piano lessons money. Where's the money really going, Morgan? I bet it's at the candy store.
I wanted to add to my collection. Hey, Brenda.
Hi, Logan. Got a vacuum for you.
So, I created a business, Logan's Miracle Works Vacuum Cleaner Repairs.
This dude's making a hustle off of what he loves, and people are here for it clearly. What more can you really ask for out of life? He gets to do what he loves for a living, and he's still only a young one. By some metrics, that's more successful than most of us will ever be. Keep doing what you love, kiddo. You're gonna go places. Maybe not super profitable places, but places nonetheless. Now, those are just some of the most interesting vacuum collectors I was able to find over my 2-week disappearance, but I must tell you, friend, this story far from ends here. The epidemic of people who really like collecting vacuums is covered by a lot more than just those, but there is one particular thing I would like to highlight to you that I came across, and that was this not-so-little organization called the Vacuum Cleaners Collectors Club. This is an organization made up entirely of people like the ones we met today, one of which is one of the people we met today, Michael Balda. But this group has been around for decades, since 1983, co-founded by John Lucia and Alex Tabor. I'm so sorry if I said your names wrong. Now, the club has these things called mini-meets, which I couldn't find too much info on, but it seems like they're these little get-togethers the members have with each other to demonstrate and share with each other all the things that are going on in their vacuum collection. But these little meetings are only just the beginning, as they are just here to hold members over until the grandiose and official annual Vacuum Con. That's right, there is an annual Vacuum Cleaners Collection Club convention, and I gotta say, it looks pretty fucking lit. I'd imagine it's a lot like a fur con, but for people who like vacuums instead of anthropomorphic animals. Probably about the same amount of sucking going on during both of those types of events. Boy, do I feel stupid. But tell you what, if this video hits 50,000 likes before 2020's Vacuum Con, and if VidCon isn't at the same time as it, I will do my best to go next year, probably with a buddy to help me record, and do my best to document what in God's name is happening over there. But while they're off guard and non-active on their website, it's time to promote my conspiracy theory of why vacuum collecting is such a widespread epidemic and only growing in size. Let me first ask you, have you ever guys heard of this thing called toxoplasmosis? Well, it's a parasite that's infected roughly half of the world's population. And don't worry, in most people, it won't ever do shit. And when it does show up, you might have some flu-like symptoms for a while, but that's the worst it gets from what I've seen. But that's not what makes it interesting. No, the interesting part of it is that part of the reason so many people have contracted it is because you can catch it by being around infected cat poop. Oh yeah, a lot of cats are infected with it as well. And a standout trait about the disease is that it's theorized that it contributes to making you like cats. Apparently one of its traits is that it makes infected host bodies that are usually prey of cats attracted to the feline instead of scared of it, so that the usual prey of cats may get eaten by the cat and so that the parasite can infect the cat's body. And the same may go for humans who are infected with the disease, where it makes them like cats more. My theory is that vacuums are sentient life that have a symbiotic relationship with a similar parasite to the one of toxoplasmosis, where they infect humans with the disease so that they want to better take care of the vacuums and that the parasite may have a good host body to feed off of. Now, the effect that the vacuum parasite equivalent of toxoplasmosis has on humans is a lot less likely to take a hold over them than toxoplasmosis, but because of its greater rarity to show outward effect, when it does take a hold, it does so much more strongly, influencing its hosts into really liking collecting vacuums, doing whatever they can to amass hundreds of them in their collection that they want to use and repair and help feed them by letting them suck up dust in any place that they can find it at. But this parasite is only growing stronger. It's starting to infect the wider masses into liking vacuums. And for any further proof of this claim, just look at humanity's ever-growing connection to the Roomba. You see all sorts of people going on about how Roombas, the self-driving, almost alive-feeling vacuums, have become almost a part of their family, like a pet. Like a cat, almost. People are growing attached to the Roombas because they think they're really cute. Now what does this sound like to you that we've discussed today? That's right, the cat lover parasite. Toxoplasmosis, but for a different animal this time, the vacuum plasmosis. So beware everyone, your connection to your Roomba or other vacuums may have more powerful forces at work behind it than you realize. And the people who are infected might just be your friends themselves. You never know who you can trust. Anyways, I'm gonna wrap this video up here. If you guys enjoyed, be sure to drop a like, and if you're new, subscribe. I'm serious about that 50,000 likes thing, by the way. If this video hits that before VacuumCon 2020, I will do my best to go that year, assuming other things don't get in the way of it. It's a pretty big promise, so I'm not gonna say for sure that I'll be able to make it even if we hit the like goal, but I will do my damnedest. Like I said, there is a new second channel video up if you want to check that out. You can follow me on Twitter at Kwite and on Instagram at Kwite.png. Links to both of those in the description below. And lastly, I also have a Discord server. Link to that in the description as well if you're interested. Anyways, this has been Kwite, and I'll see you guys next time.